Buttergex sponsors the Girthcast.
Hell yeah!
Welcome, and once again, we've not thought of a better name than the Girthcast for whatever this is. I thought about thinking about it, and then just never got around to it.
One of these days we'll do it. We're busy people.
One of these days, once we've done the season, like once we've gone through every one of these episodes, I don't know if it's 10 or 11 or
We'll
whatever.
group them together in a folder.
We'll put a folder or like a playlist,
That's the word.
and then we'll rename it then. Hello,
Hi!
how are you doing? Welcome. It's a lovely windy evening out there.
It's very windy.
We can set the tone, you know.
It's getting a bit colder.
The dark nights have rolled in. It's not like nippy or anything, but it's windy.
Yeah,
It's a time to watch Doctor Who, I
it
guess.
is. Although I'm more of a Doctor Who and Spring man.
Exactly. I think we should talk about that, because that is a talking point. Like, we didn't really talk about that in the build-up to the season, but they changed the broadcast date from
Saturday.
to Sunday, which
Sunday.
screams Brexit, but it has been doing well for it.
I haven't
So
been well for. I will not check today's rating.
no, I'm sure it did really well, because
Oh, they've done fine.
Done-
Probably a bit down on last week. That's what happened.
I don't know, it was kind of like a hot button topic kind of thing. I saw a
Yeah.
lot of buzz about it afterwards, so maybe that like contributed to making it more of a
Twitter is not represented.
no, it is a bubble, but like I don't know. It feels like they've got a good momentum going.
They have got a good momentum. They've brought people back to the show.
Yeah, which is what they were setting out to do.
Yep.
I don't like it being in the winter. When I think of new Doctor Who, I think of being on the BBC's Red Button, and they had a service. 2006, the BBC's Red Button, and they had a service where like it would just you could go into the entertainment section, which I think was in the 500s. Like you had to type the number in to take you there, and then it was like super CFAX or super like teletext,
Yeah.
and they would play a video, and like the video was like the week's entertainment news, and I distinctly remember the one for New Earth, and like even though New Earth is kind of terrible,
It very much is.
that is what I kind of think of as like new Doctor Who season starting kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And 2006 was just every day it was summer anyway. Like it was a blazing like summer of our youth.
I
2006.
just associate 2006 with endless sunshine.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't actually like
No, not we could look at the data and it would just be like nothing but rain and like horribleness. But in our nostalgic memories, 2006 is a hell
Yep.
of a
It's
summer
all
year.
Coke with lime, that's all that matters.
Coke with lime.
It came in green bottles. It was a great time.
I want to say Guitar Hero was a big thing.
Guitar Hero 1 was out, like the build up to Guitar Hero 2 was happening, like
James Bond is the name I was looking for there.
Casino Royale.
Casino Royale, he was blonde. That's like another yellow association for me. Like,
The Simpsons was only 16 years old.
oh god, Simpsons from 2006 is probably not.
It's not good at all, it's bad.
It's not even in that cozy window
No.
of like 99 to like 2003. Yeah. I mean, it was a year away from the film.
That's very true. But that film, like they'd saving that. Like,
What's the big film of like 2006? Because like I feel like things started to happen after 2006.
Casino Royale, the second Pirates of the Caribbean film.
Oh, was that
I
2006?
believe so.
Oh god, yeah.
Dead Man's Chest.
I kind of like it, but it's not great.
Yeah, that was summer 06, I believe.
'Cause, like, 07 has like Hot Fuzz, the greatest
Hot
film of all
Fuzz,
time.
Spider-Man 3,
Oh yeah.
also the greatest film of all time.
I mean, it's a film.
The
It's a
most
dense film.
The most meme film of all time.
Mm.
Like,
That is an achievement for Spider-Man, who is himself a meme.
but yeah, so
Doctor Who.
linking Doctor Who to Spider-Man 3, like all like those Marfa episodes were airing when Spider-Man.
Oh,
It seems
yeah.
mad. Like
That is mad. That
that's
doesn't
very
work.
Mad.
No,
It
that doesn't
work
connect.
in my brain.
No, those are separate boxes in my head. Like, I can't picture going to the cinema to see because that's Spider-Man 3 seems
I went
ancient.
to see Spider-Man 3 on a Saturday, and I'm 99.999% sure there would have been an episode of Doctor Who like when I had gotten out of the cinema. It might have been like the Lazarus experiment or something. I feel
God.
like that. There's like a thing in my head where that happens.
We should look into that because it's either going to be like something like the Lazarus experiment. I don't even think that's is it Lazarus Project? Lazarus.
Some Lazarus.
Mark
something.
Gatiss'
Mark
episode.
Gatiss is in it. He's in it also.
He's in it and wrote it, I want to say. Or it could have been like the Shakespeare Code.
Or it could have been.
Mm. That doesn't work in my brain. Like
And
you,
then
you've
Blair
messed me up.
resigned.
And then Blair resigned. Yeah. Again, that doesn't feel like that should fit in there.
It all happened in like 2 months.
Oh God, what a time to be
What a
alive.
time to be alive.
Kids these days just don't know. They
don't know.
They fundamentally don't know.
Like, but nothing happened in politics then. It was just like
We-
the Iraq War. That was bad.
Nothing happened in politics then, other than like the Iraq War
Yeah.
and ongoing Afghanistan and like just everything.
You're not.
You're only 2 days out or 2 years out from Green Day's seminal like.
21st century breakdown.
Is that one? Oh no, what was the 2005 one? American
Oh,
Idiot,
American Idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2
So,
years.
2 years either way. Yeah. So yeah, political. I don't know where I was going with this really,
No,
other than just talking
we
about
should probably
2006.
Link it back to this week's episode of Doctor Who.
Rosa.
Rosa.
Rosa
This
was
is called
called.
Rosa.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
simple episode
It's a
titles.
simple episode title. Again, it was written by Chris Chibnall and Mallory Blackman.
I'm glad that you knew the other person because I didn't know the other person.
she's an author.
Yeah.
I guess she sort of came up with like the basic idea of a plot, and it's like, I'm an author. I've never written a TV thing before. Go and rewrite it. I assume that's what happened.
That's cool that they're getting people from far and wide in to like
Yeah,
write the
it's
episodes. And
more diverse writers as well, as opposed to just.
I feel like it was 3 writers last season. Like I feel like it was Stephen Moffat, Gatiss, and was Toby Whitehouse?
Possibly, yeah.
And I
There's
feel
a few others. In
There was a
that series,
few
yeah.
others, but it had gotten quite like cliquey and
It had gotten like quite tricky. Although it seems like this series doesn't have a lot of writers either.
really.
Yeah.
I should probably be looking into it for this,
I
but
think
I've never.
more than half of them are probably written by Chris Chibnall.
Well, I think James, who's listening in, viewer James, was saying that he was speculating that all of the episodes might have a like subwritten by Chibnall
Possibly.
credit because like they all have so far, like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, although he literally just wrote the first 2. I guess we'll see.
I would like that. I mean, I'd say I like that, but I have horrible things to say about this episode. I really didn't like it, and I think most of the things I didn't like were his overarching writing because I quite liked the stuff about Rosa.
Right.
But like everything else,
So you're saying there was a hint of a good script there.
I'm
then-
hint at good scripts.
Chris Chibnall came in and did his Doctor Who showrunner.
I don't know
stuff
if
on top of
I don't know if it necessarily went that way, but like everything that wasn't Rosa Parks being on screen, I thought was terrible.
Right. Okay. I thought the Rosa Parks was fantastic. Like I don't know the name of the actress.
No.
But, like she looked like Rosa Parks. Like holy.
That's
crap.
good. I don't
Like,
actually.
I've looked at a picture. Like they got that dead on, and
I really liked her.
a really
Like
good performance. I thought.
I thought her was the strongest performance of the episode, and
Yeah.
like so far in the season.
So far this series, easily. Like,
And,
even
like-
outshining Jodie Whittaker by
Mhm.
quite a margin. which
Oh,
is
aye.
Probably not what you want to say about the Doctor. And I don't even think it's Jodie Whittaker's fault. I think the scripts have sort of let her down a little bit.
I'll
And
get
she
to
was-
that because
and
I have a
thought
lot
she
to
was good in
say.
this episode as well. It's just she didn't necessarily have stuff to do.
I feel like she had
and that-
less to
And also,
do.
I think that's respectful because you don't want the Doctor like.
Yes, I think that's because I've got
You
lots.
can see if the Doctor like say like I mean she kind of did, but like see if the Doctor was like, oh, it all happened because of the Doctor. Like
Yeah, you don't
civil
want it to be
rights.
that. There's like a
Like,
balance to do
they
there.
had to do. They
I
had
will
to
open the
balance it quite
episode
well.
here though and say the whole civil rights thing is kind of implied to have happened because of Bradley Walsh. Like
yeah.
there's like Bradley Walsh
Although I
is.
quite like that scene where he was like, "No,
I like that
no,
scene
I
as
don't
well.
want to do- I don't
Like-
want to do this."
Like Bradley, because like Rosa Parks refuses to give up her seat on the bus, and it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know who she refused to give it up for in real life. I don't know if that's documented or whatever. But in the Doctor Who universe, it was because Bradley Walsh was getting on the bus,
Yeah.
and like he had a good bit where he's like, "No, I don't want to be part of this because this is like a horrible thing." But he's in there now. Like
Yeah.
this happens, not necessarily because of, but you know, indirectly because of Bradley Walsh.
We should roll it back. Like the episode sort of opens with like because like the strap comes off. It's like Montgomery 1943, and I'm like, it didn't happen in 1943. Like what?
There's like a
This is
prelude.
Yeah, because I remember reading about this. But yeah, like, and also I think that was an important because a lot of people sort of forget about the bus thing about it really dehumanizing having to go on the front door. And
Yeah,
then
I forgot
get
about
off
it. Yeah.
And then go into the middle entrance. Like that is just.
I was
awful.
definitely taught about that and forgot about
Yeah.
that, which like I thought a lot of like the whole kind of educational
Yeah,
angle of the episode
I
was really
felt there was like a sort of like common line to like early like Hartnell episodes where it's like this is about.
good. They were definitely
educational.
doing like a First Doctor. We have a like
the history.
remake.
The history is a bit intermediate to history.
Yeah.
but you know.
Well, I thought like the
there's nothing
actual
wrong with that.
I thought the environmental storytelling, I guess you would call it, of like just the people interacting was really well done. I thought like when we get to, we'll talk to it when we get to it, but the whole like them spelling out the educational thing of like literally like writing down what they know about history on a wall, I thought that was really badly done.
Yeah,
but I thought
like also I quite like that scene with them at the like rubbish bins, like discussing.
I didn't like that scene at all. Like I thought it was really badly acted.
Yeah.
Like we'll go through. I don't know if you want to go reel off the episode.
The episode starts and then it's like classic, like it's like classic 70s, like the TARDIS just isn't parking in the right place.
I like that.
Really liked.
I liked it, but I hate it as well. I'm two emotions on that. Because I like the classic Doctor vibe of he can't or she can't or they can't fly the TARDIS.
What are you saying about?
No, I'm not saying about women.
drivers?
I'm just saying it's a weird thing to get away with in New Who, because you can immediately compare the new Doctor to the old Doctor, and the old Doctor had like pinpoint control over the TARDIS.
Yeah, it's just regen though.
It's regen, and it's like I like it, and it's a good like method for telling stories because they've just turned up and like the Doctor's not there to do anything.
Also, like that's literally how the TARDIS always turns up where there's something happening.
Yeah,
always.
But like making a point of it is like a fun like haha we know about this because of classic Who, but in combination with everything else that happens, it doesn't make the new Doctor look good at all.
We only saw the new TARDIS very, very briefly, and I still thought it was very, very dark. It looked a bit better than last week. I feel like they had some more lights turned on.
I think they had different camera angles as well.
Yeah, it still looked not great. Like,
I was
don't
immediately
want to be spending a lot of time there. And it seems like they don't either. So
it kind of looks like there was a fire in the TARDIS, and then it just didn't stop.
Got ash on it.
Yeah. I was immediately appeased though, because the center column crystal thingy goes up and down, and that's all I need. Yeah. Like it can look like anything.
I mean, if it didn't do that, I'd have just turned off.
Just
that's not Doctor Who.
Like what are you doing? Like you have to
change everything about Doctor Who except that.
I hope there's a man under there that just like goes up and down with like a stick to make it work. I hope someone's getting paid for that.
I hope they're well paid. So they come out and then they're in like.
Was it 50s or 60s?
1950s.
Yeah.
19.
I don't know, because the villain of the piece made me think it was the 50s, and I honestly don't know when the civil rights stuff. I don't know it off by heart, so we'll look up.
Apologies for this.
Apologies for a horrible grasp of history.
Research. I feel like it's the 1960s.
Even though it's like flashed up on the screen.
It might be the 50s.
Is it 50? 60?
It was early 60s.
Is it early 50s though? That is
1955.
1955.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I should have known that. I'm a total idiot.
We passed history somehow. Like
I studied this exact topic in quite a lot of detail. So they realize they're in Montgomery, Alabama, like the day before the Rosa Parks thing on the bus.
Before she.
Because they like go to a restaurant. Was that before they had met her, or had they met?
I don't know. I've been meaning to watch this episode again today because I have a lot of strong feelings on it, and I should probably justify that by giving it more time.
Yeah, there was like a lot. I was in two minds about it because like there was like a lot of scenes where like Ryan. There was the focus a lot of the episode is like the black main character.
Yeah.
And like it was like obviously it sucks that he was like put into this, but like I feel like he was being like I feel like the Doctor. I don't know. Some of it felt really insensitive that he like knew what he was doing and he knew he was like putting himself in danger and like.
I thought he was going to be killed. Really, I thought like the end of this episode to be like, no, we're 3 episodes in and we're just going to kill a companion.
I don't know how to like sort of like negotiate my thoughts on it because like you can't like it's not his fault obviously. I think he's quite unlikable as a character. Put him in like a really really bad spot. Like I feel like the Doctor should have maybe protected him better.
Well, I meant to look up this as well. Again, research is our weakness here, but in last season, there was a Capaldi episode where the Doctor took Bill back to like 18th century London and they went to the Frost Fairs and there was a whole thing where like Bill was like, but I'm black, how can I be walking about and like people will kick off, it'll be a whole thing. And the Doctor was like, oh maybe it will, maybe it won't, like, but someone was like had a huge racist speech towards Bill and the Doctor went the entire episode with like, Bill didn't kick off, like it's the time, you have to respect the time or whatever. And then this guy has a huge racist speech towards her and the Doctor just punches him out. Like Capaldi just punches him, like there's like a cut, and he just like punches him in the face for what he said.
Yeah.
And like I realize like it's a weird thing you have to negotiate with time travel stories, but I don't think the Doctor came off at all well last night. The Doctor never to my remembering gave anyone any crap for anything they said in
Yeah.
that episode. And it can't, like, I know that's real, and they're doing a kind of whole racism thing, and like that's great that Doctor Who's tackling that. But it's weird when you have to sustain that across seasons, because like if they go to somewhere else that has profound racism, or you would expect to have profound
Yeah,
racism,
but it's not
and then
like-
they don't cover it.
Yeah, but the difference is it's not like this like historical milestone that like Montgomery in 1955 is like that's like that is like history, like that's
Yeah,
like
it is,
the most prime site for like the civil rights movement, like that is the civil rights movement.
Yeah, I know, but like
I know, but my
the
point
Doctor
is
has
like,
nothing to say about it.
yeah, you're right, but like I feel like they were all sort of trying to do it in respect of like we can't have the Doctor.
Yeah, you can't have the Doctor just say like racism is bad and
yeah.
then make people
Yeah,
not be
because-
racist because that is what it is. But it also brings you to the situation where the Doctor is kind of defeated by 50s America.
Yeah.
Where
So
like
they kind of discover that there's like time energy there, and that they eventually
Arctorn energy.
Archon energy.
That's
I
a
believe it
Doctor
was.
Who thing.
Yep, they come across this sort of like greaser dude in leather who's got a vortex manipulator, which I enjoyed as like a sort of mid-level Doctor Who callback.
A mid-level, but it's a Moffat callback. He
Yeah.
invented. I don't know if RTD invented them or whatever for the overall series.
Well, the
but-
first person to have them was Jack Harkness, was it not?
which was a Moffat episode.
Yeah,
so like it's
presumably Moffat invented it.
presumably Moffat invented it,
I
or
mean,
at
he
least
invented
or at least
a risk time trap.
they quoted Moffat's lines of cheap and nasty time travel. That's weird, isn't it? Like, it's weird that they're not getting away from that. They
Why?
But it's weird that, like...
Moffat is like one of the best Doctor Who writers ever.
I know, but, like, they're doing this thing where everything's new, and they're not doing any recurring monsters yet.
I don't think, like, the concept of a vortex manipulator is, like, I think they know
But specifically
inherently
quoting
what it
Moffat
is.
lines. Like,
It's a good line!
It's
like,
a great
it sort
line.
of gets across, like, this is why this is worse than my TARDIS.
yeah, I know, but it kind of feels weird. So, like, I know we're only 3 episodes in, but it felt like they weren't kind of referencing anything. And then this episode had Arctron energy and a vortex manipulator and the storm cage, which is where River Song was kept.
So they eventually established that there's this guy who's like come back in time to stop
This guy,
Rosa Parks from being arrested and stop the bus boycott from happening. Like that is the plot.
that's the plot, and he's essentially the alt-right from the
Yeah,
future.
like,
and like
he was in prison for being a space racist.
a space racist, and I quite liked what they did to him. They gave him like a brain implant so he couldn't kill anyone or hurt anyone.
Yeah.
So his gimmick is he has a gun that displaces you in time, a lot like the Weeping Angels.
Yeah.
It had some fun visuals. Like, can't really complain about that.
I thought the episode looked really good. Like all the like.
It did in
period
places,
stuff.
but it was very blurry. At points, I was like, "Is the Doctor's
There's a lot
top
of,
not
like,
loading
zoomed
in?"
shots.
There's a lot of like.
I really
zoom
like
in.
the way the shots on the bus were shot. Like there was a lot of bus
Aye.
action. I thought that looked really good. Like,
But that bus looked cool. As
Yeah.
a fan of buses,
Yeah.
it looked neat. I guess it's kind of like a horrific bus
bus.
with its like segregation and everything. But like they went out and got a bus. I don't know where that was filmed, but it looks.
Yeah. I
Looks-
assume the actual bus is in, I think it's like a museum somewhere.
Right.
It must-
All the
Smithsonian
street
maybe?
stuff looked.
There's
cool.
an incredible shot of like Barack Obama sitting on that very
Oh
bus.
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, tear in your eye.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so glorious.
Oh, that's good. That's
Thanks.
good. The episode itself looked good, but like scene to scene, I don't think it looked good. Like thinking about it, it was like very cinematic and everything. But like I was saying, there's like lots of shots where it's pulling in and out, and there's like blur, and I know that's what it's going for, but I don't think it looked good.
Yeah.
And like there was scenes where I thought the Doctor's top was like lagging in, like it looks like she had like a blurry top on underneath her jacket. She rips her jacket at one point, and I shouted. Because you know her jacket's amazing.
Yeah, but they had to do that.
They had to do
for
that.
plot
Like
reasons.
she'd ripped her jacket so she could go get Rosa to fix it.
Yeah.
And but that's a lovely jacket. Like
No, but like I would do that. It was weird because they were like they were trying so hard to do like this like really bad thing, but like a thing like in retrospect that like had to happen.
yeah, they were making the
Well,
bad thing happen so good
yeah.
things could happen. And like they didn't because you say Bradley Walsh had that line where he didn't want to be part of. He didn't want to be the white man
Yeah.
that she had to like say no to. But like it doesn't really get followed up on. It doesn't really get like developed. He just has that line where he's like, "Oh."
Yeah,
crap.
there was like that. Yeah.
And I want there to be more of that. I want
But
there
yeah, we should probably go through the companions in this episode because Ryan
Ryan-
is incredibly dumb. Like
He's dumb-
incredibly like in a sort of endearing way, but he's not smart.
He's
like,
dumb and-
whatsoever.
I think he's just not likable. Not at least
See, I
yet.
quite like him in like a
I like Bradley Walsh, right? And he's been very antagonistic to Bradley Walsh. Bradley Walsh just wants him to call him his granddad.
We should say there wasn't any granddad talk in this episode.
There wasn't any granddad talk, but like Bradley Walsh put his fist out for a fist bump, and then he just refused to fist bump him, even though they were having a good time and they were like noising up a racist.
Yeah, so obviously
busman.
like a lot of the sort of like main character focus for the companions like on Bradley and Ryan again, or no, Ryan and
Ryan and Graham.
Ryan and Graham.
The Doctor Who magazine calls him Bradders on the front cover.
Good one.
It's like something Bradders.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so like obviously because Ryan's having to deal with like the awful racist people, and Graham like from who's trying to like obviously his wife was a big Rosa Parks fan, and he's trying to. Respect
I wish
that.
his wife was here.
Yeah,
they had a line where it's like, oh, if only she was here. And
yeah,
like
that like
she would have caused a riot.
Honestly, go on to the next companion would have been a much better addition to this episode than Yaz, who still had nothing to do.
Yaz, you'd think Yaz.
There was a little like couple of nice moments with her, like the fact that she was able to get on the bus and sit in the white section. And, like,
I don't know if is that nice or is that horrible? Are they going?
It's horrible, but it's sort of like
they call her a Mexican.
Yeah, that
and like
it helps with it. And
the episode goes a lot of places.
And
I
then
didn't
there's that
think it would.
Yeah, there's that conversation with her and.
Ryan, it's hard to remember his name.
Ryan,
behind the dumpster.
Behind the dumpster, where they're talking about, oh yeah, I get called a thing when I'm at.
We can't say we're white men. Like we're not gonna like
when I'm at work and I get
or
called
a terrorist.
And I go to the
and she's a
malls.
policewoman.
Yeah.
Like that. It's good that Doctor Who is. It's definitely great that Doctor Who's talking about that.
Yeah,
and it's great that they're doing a whole
there's a
episode
lot more,
about
like,
that.
representation, I feel like,
And not even just like lip service representation.
Yeah,
like they
like,
are
proper.
like proper.
Yeah.
As much as they can at like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock on like BBC. Like they are, and they went a lot further than I thought they would with like certain like racial slurs for the BBC.
Yeah.
But I don't think Brian's a great actor. And like as much as that scene behind the dumpster was great, it was also not well acted. I want to say it was a very eye rolly. There was a lot of eye rolls in this episode.
Yeah.
See, when it wasn't like the actual historical stuff that had already been written for them, like the actual things that had already happened, I thought it was quite bad. Like the moment to moment, like talking
I'd say the
to
dialogue was far better than last week's. Like there wasn't any point where I go, this is like weirdly edited.
There was a point I want to talk about. There was a point where there was a Super Sentai cut where they went into a warehouse and then like shot someone with the vortex manipulator thing, and it shot at the screen. And then the next episode, like the next cut, was to them running out of the warehouse. Like they just ended the scene mid special effect.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Did you see that?
No, I must.
You need to see that cut because it's literally a cut from Sentai where they have to just like cut between things.
You like Sentai?
I love Sentai, but like I didn't expect to see it in this million multi-billion dollar program.
The bad guy's going to basically causing issues with the buses, trying to stop Rosa Parks from being at that place at that time.
He's doing little things.
It's little things because he can't do like major stuff, but he can do like he
burst the tires at one point.
James Blake, the bus driver, wasn't going to be at work.
Yeah,
there's like a couple of like I don't want to say nice moments between Graham and him because they're both bus drivers.
Oh, well, I thought like Graham's bus skills have come up. I want to say every episode now.
That's great.
And I know this episode's about buses, but like surely because they had to work out like which bus Rosa takes.
Yeah.
And I know that's part of like learn along with the Doctor kind of stuff. But surely like they're time travelers, you know? Like they should know. They should be able to wiki that.
Yeah.
Like
could they not use like a phone?
Could they not use a phone? They make a joke about it.
There's a weirdly cringy moment about phones.
Lending Elvis a phone, which
that also, and then when they're in the apartment and the police come.
I want to talk about that at length because again,
Bradley Walsh is all like, I invented like a phone with a calendar and
a camera and
my name's Steve Jobs. Like it was weirdly didn't fit in with the rest of the episode.
I know it's a balancing act between making an entertainment program and actually showing the horrificness of that time for people, but the Doctor was essentially not necessarily defeated, but noised up by like an old southern policeman.
Yeah.
Like they broke in.
Like if that was any other space racist, she'd have
any space racist or any like
gone mental.
I feel like if it was any other Doctor.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be like I can't see Matt Smith not like saying anything. Matt Smith would have had a whole rant at that guy.
Yeah.
Like they had to. It was a a kind of hijinksy moment where they broke into a motel. And I get that you're doing a 50s thing, so you probably want to like include a motel in there. But I was kind of just screaming at the screen, just go back. You live in the TARDIS. It's your house. You don't have to break into a motel.
Yeah.
And I know they have like a line of dialogue, but I feel like most of the line was off screen, so it kind of felt like they kind of put it in afterwards. But I feel like they had a shot of Jodie actually talking about it. But they were like, oh no, he's got it like covered or whatever, because he's the greaser guy knew what the TARDIS was. He knew it was a TARDIS as well, which I guess is a big thing. So they had to break in, but it felt super forced. And then I don't know how the policeman, because the policeman came up to them and was like, oh, you're like English and you're hanging around with the blacks and the Mexicans, and like there was a great bit, a great horrible bit where he was saying that Ryan was picking fights with people in town, and
yeah,
like that was great writing. Like that I loved that moment, because that was like a horrible like, this is the monstrousness of the time, because he didn't pick a fight. He just picked up someone's glove and then.
Can I say not even of the time?
Not even of the time. I know what.
Today's America.
I know, right? Like that's the whole thing, because
Yeah.
like you're the whole point of it is this is still the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like an allegorical sci-fi thing, and that's great. It's just like, and that bit of writing I thought was fantastic. Like he's picking fights, but like that guy, I don't know how he found them, because they broke into that motel.
Yeah, I guess
because they couldn't go in.
Like there's like a sensor detector. I don't know if they had those.
No, not in the fifth. Like, but like they knew that he knew it wasn't a break-in. Like he didn't come there to arrest them. He came there because he knew it was the English people that were in town. Like it's entirely a plot hole. Like
I was gonna, if this was like Moffat, you'd be like, was this gonna come on later? Like,
no, it was just a terrible like.
Yeah, maybe they cut a scene.
They maybe cut a scene and explained it or whatever. But like, he just found them, and then I feel like any other Doctor.
I feel like that scene didn't add anything to the episode at all, other than just this police are shit.
Police are bad, and wacky hijinks where they had to hide their friends in the bathroom and then stall them. But like, that scene was essentially Graham's scene.
Yeah.
And I know it's an ensemble thing, and I kind of like it. But again, it makes the Doctor not anything.
I brought this up. I feel like there's too many companions for the Doctor. Like the Doctor hasn't had a chance to shine yet.
Well, the Doctor, I like it though. I like that it's an ensemble thing and it's multiple people. It's not just God Mode Doctor, which is what Matt Smith and Capaldi were. Yeah. But like, it's not a vacuum, because we know what those Doctors are like and what they would have done. Essentially, in that situation, they would have had like a rant, and they would have like gotten to leave. But in this thing, because it's like a team thing, Graham got a moment. But I don't feel like the Doctor's getting any moments, like at all. She stood up on top of a bus or a van at one point and talked to the guy, and she like broke his vortex manipulator because he couldn't kill her. And that's kind of all I remember the Doctor specifically doing. And she kind of seems confused all the time. Like, and like maybe that's her character, but it doesn't come across as great. Like, it doesn't come across as... Because I assumed she was going to be like a hero doc going into this.
Yeah, like...
But she's not...
Like Tennant as the ultimate hero doc.
Yeah, and like she is quite Tennant-y with her like dialogue and stuff. Mannerisms. But not in her kind of doing things.
Yeah.
And it kind of just feel... It doesn't feel great. And it doesn't feel like she was like endorsing racism at all. But she had a lot of like points where racism was happening around her. And you kind of feel like if this wasn't like this Doctor,
or specifically this
this TARDIS team.
No, I was going back to what I was saying. Like specifically like that like.
If this was space racism, the Doctor wouldn't be having any of the space.
Exactly,
racism.
that's my point. I think it's just because it was specifically Montgomery 1955.
Yeah, you can't have the Doctor.
You can't have the Doctor like.
But it doesn't come across great after this is the third episode of the Doctor not being that great, which I think they needed to do, and I think they needed to walk it back from like the antics of Matt Smith and Capaldi. Did you see Capaldi's episode where he was like riding on top of a tank playing a guitar? Like that happened.
No,
I liked it, but it's pretty cringy. That's his entrance into like one of the seasons.
Yeah, it's like they're having to like later on in the episodes like they're having to get like there's a scene between Yaz and Rosa Parks where she mentions that she's a police officer. I thought that was pretty good.
Aye, that was good.
So,
like,
oh, you're a police officer. Right?
Everything with Rosa Parks, great.
Yeah.
Everything, like every conversation she had interacted with was like fantastic. I just think the mechanisms and like the mechanics of the episode around it were horrendous.
Yeah.
Like I just, and it's bad because like I don't want to be crapping on it because it is doing an important thing for Doctor Who. Like I didn't think there would be like tacklism, racism 3 episodes into like a Chibnall series.
Yeah.
Like this is a surprise and a good one. It's just like I think the actual like structure and then character interactions other than Rosa Parks were really bad.
Yeah, so it kind of like they need to get like the space racist Parks car on the route. He like puts a sign on the bus stop says no buses today. Like they have to get James Blake to do a shift.
They have to go get.
That my absolute favorite scene in the entire episode is when he is gone fishing and then Bradley like with his bus pal Logic comes down with Ryan and he's like, oh, we're going fishing as well.
Yeah.
And
he can't handle it. He's like, oh, you can't be here.
Handle it. And he's like, I'm going to work.
Well, he says to them that there's going to be a strike or a sit-in or something. Yeah. And that gets him, he's like, oh, not on my bus. And then he goes to, I like the back and forth kind of thing where like the guy's like, because he goes back, but his bus is broken because the greaser guy's like stabbed his wheels and like broken his windows. And then I forget what they do to fix that, really. Because things work out after that.
Does Bradley just not get him a bus?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I know that he has bus-based powers, but I kind of expected this to be like, I don't know why, but more of a Yaz episode. I assumed like, because like last week's kind of felt more like a Ryan. There was a lot of Ryan stuff, and there was a lot of Ryan and Bradley bonded in that episode. So I assumed this one's going to be Yaz. It looks like next week's will be Yaz because Yaz's mum's in it. So fair play. Hopefully she'll get stuff to do.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad scene, kind of. Like, I think it's really... Maybe it's a 2018 thing to do, but their first taste of time travel was kind of terrible.
Not great, yeah. Not great, like...
I'm just eating a biscuit
time
now.
travel's not always fun.
It's not, but
yeah, so they eventually get on. They eventually get onto like the bus, and then there isn't enough white passengers, so they had to get like, or they realize that they're gonna have to be.
They're gonna have to be part of the event because they were gonna get off and let other white people come on, but because like Ryan, there was another great scene where like Ryan was like, "Oh, old people get on the bus, like the buses are on," because the greaser had like stopped the buses.
I should say before this, Ryan just goes up and fucking...
He deals with the guy.
He deals with the guy. I assume he'll be back in a future episode.
Well, he sent him back into the past, which never send Jeremy back into... Send them into the future.
Yeah.
Never send them like back to the dinosaur age where they can like cause more trouble.
Especially this guy here we know can cause trouble with Chiron energy.
Like his... I want to talk about the guy because... It's not stated when he comes from, but he's from the future and he hates, he's space racist or like future racist. And he's essentially the alt-right. And he's like, oh, the civil rights, that's where everything started to go wrong. It's not stated that he's from the same time as Captain Jack. But Captain Jack is a vortex manipulator and they're like time agent gear. And like I feel like there was a Moffat timeline of things, or was it year 50,000 or year 5? There was like a specific thing that he kept saying, like River Song and Jack were from.
Yeah. And River Song also had vortex.
Yeah, she did. She did. So I want to say, like, I'm not saying that this greasy guy was from the exact same thing, but he was in the Storm Cage prison.
Yeah.
So let's assume for a minute
I fucking love that. Like, see, like the sheer like car parkness of that prison. Like,
that car park it's like a Red Dwarf like set. It's so good.
And there's always those like comedy soldiers
running up and down. Like it's the worst. They make it. It's like, oh, the Storm Cage. What did they do? Like it's terrible. Like
River Song escapes like every 2 seconds.
Every episode.
It's just like this comedy prison. And this guy escapes.
This guy, well, they let him go. I guess he was on parole, but I guess they let him go through time or something like. Or
I think they'd like take your vortex.
Maybe he went and got one in the black market. I don't know. Maybe it's time where like time travel's fine. Like there's like it's fine. The Doctor will deal with you eventually.
Yeah. So.
But like my point is that it's not stated that it comes from Captain Jack's time, but he's got a lot of paraphernalia from that kind of setting.
Yeah.
I want to say that Captain Jack's omnisexuality is kind of like a product of his time, because he's like, in these first episode they were saying like, oh, he's from the year 5000 or 5000, you know, like he's a modern guy. So it's kind of weird. Like I know what they're doing. I know like they're saying that the alt-right exists now, so like we're using the parallels with them existing in the year 5000. It's just weird to me that like Captain Jack can be out there just roaming the fields, sex and whatever, and that's his whole like comedy thing. But also that time spawns this guy who is racist, but like I know
it's a different place from what it was in 2005.
I know I'm standing here being like, oh, like I'm not being the guy that's like racism doesn't exist.
Yeah,
well, but like
the thing is, the difference between like paradoxically like 2009 is now is like there might be less racism, but there's also more at the same time.
There's louder horror, and Trump is president.
Yeah.
Like, we live in a nightmare.
Like, there's probably less, like, low-level racism, but more, like, high-level
Institutional.
racism. Yeah.
Just the police, just everything.
Although, America's always...
I thought it was a bit weird that they were doing an American... I know it's a world history kind of thing, but it was quite an American episode. I don't know if that kind of, like... I don't know why they chose America first. It feels like a later season episode. It feels like this would have come, like, later in a kind of episode 9 kind of...
Yeah, although I feel like they've always kind of done, like... I feel like they always do like a historical character.
I'm just talking about the kind of quality of like the subject.
Like episode 3 of Moffat's Who first year was Victory of the Daleks with Churchill.
That is true. That's a fun like Sunday afternoon war film.
I know, like saying like it's like we'll meet his. Obviously, Rosa Parks is obviously a much nicer person than Winston Churchill. But
they solve everything in the episode. They solve the problem.
Yeah, but just like they realised they were gonna have to be the white parents. It's kind of an emotional scene where Bradley's like, I don't want to do this, like my wife.
Yep, I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to get that expounded upon because it doesn't.
And then it happens. She gets arrested as obviously.
I don't know how dignified it happened in real life, but it was very kind of like they just took her away.
I would have been like
really, I don't know. Like that busman was very, very angry. So I imagine the police would have been worse.
I think her point was she was going to get arrested. Like when you get arrested, there's kind of not a whole lot you can do. Like
I'm not saying because
in her case, if she didn't get up, it would have gotten a lot.
No, I'm not saying she resisted or whatever. I'm just saying the police would probably be a lot worse than what was like depicted in that episode.
Rosa Parks wasn't the first person. The episode sort of shied away from it. Like, obviously Rosa Parks is the most famous, but other people had been arrested for this before. I forget what was there. There's another person who did basically the same thing. But
well, it was the thing that galvanized it. It was like a spark.
Yeah, it was just like a spark that just happened.
I honestly don't know if it had the same history as you because I remember doing a lot of. I don't even remember now, but like I don't remember specifically doing this in history. There was other folk there because Ryan went to like a meeting and like Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King was in the episode.
There's
a whole load of dialogue in this. Like I feel like this is where like I feel like the Doctor's bad in this episode because I feel like the Doctor should have said like this is like a really important historical time. Like obviously you know how it turns out, but like you need to like not, like
run about.
Like if Martin Luther King go, I'm Martin Luther King, you can't go like, oh Martin Luther King.
Well, that's kind of what you want from a time travel thing.
Want, but it just.
I really liked his like when he called him Martin Luther King. Like he said it like the whole name back to him. I thought that was pretty funny. That was the only Ryan thing I laughed at.
It would be like your natural reaction, but it felt like I would have liked a line of dialogue where it was like you need to try not to.
I feel like there might have been one thing. I feel like she was like, "Oh, we've got to set right what once went wrong, quantum leap style." But like that was one thing at the start, and then they did loads of stuff in the episode.
So like a controversial, like I feel like a lot of people have got controversial opinions about the pop song that played.
I hated it. I thought when she was arrested, it was really good. I feel like that was fine, and they've probably done that before.
They had like Vincent and the Doctor, like it's like a pretty similar episode to this. I think Vincent and the Doctor is a better episode overall.
It has like a.
It also has like an emotional.
It has a giant invisible chicken monster.
It also has like an emotional like ending of a modern pop song.
They did it over the credits though.
Yeah, they
did. That happened, which I think was one surprise too many.
I'm absolutely fine with this because the middle credits without the ending credits without the middle 8 is fucking worthless.
Yeah,
not worth a single solitary fuck. Ban Doctor Who credits without the middle 8. What even is?
You thought they would learn from Twitch.
Moffat's Who never had it, and he's like fucking Doctor Who fan. What like? BBC credit fucking squeezing time bullshit.
I don't know. Like
RTD's Who had it, or specifically starting season 2 had it.
This pop song, I assume it was a modern pop song. I didn't recognise it. It was really good over the actual arrest. Was it the arrest itself?
Yeah, it was like the arrest and then the bit after, like, because obviously I don't think they didn't really want to go into like what happened afterwards. Because
they talked about it.
Yeah, I know they kept it. They didn't like show it. Like they went back to the TARDIS. And then
I thought that was kind of. I don't know. It was good that they talked about how her life wasn't great after that.
Yeah.
But they showed the archive footage of her getting the medal from Clinton.
Yeah, with which the screen in the top, like.
I thought that was not well presented, but I like that they talked about it.
Yeah.
Like, they had a whole thing where they were like, life gets better, and like this was the start of something big, and then they go to look outside, and I honestly thought they were going. It was like, all right, they'll show like what the future's like. Like they'll show this like super civilization where people live in harmony. Like like because they've been stabbing at that in Doctor Who forever, or like the future will get better. And then they just showed the Rosa Parks asteroid.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know was a real thing. Like
I feel like there's a better way that you could have shown like the legacy of Rosa Parks. Like
yeah.
Show the picture of Barack Obama on like that bus where she was arrested, like that mentioned earlier.
I get what they were doing.
I get what they were doing. They were trying to get like space,
sci-fi.
Like, yeah.
But like having something named naming an asteroid after something isn't anything.
Yeah, it's like if that asteroid ever comes to fucking Earth, then Rosa Parks will kill us all. She'll have her last revenge on the bus driver.
Oh my god. Not even that, because like I assume there's a Trump asteroid. Because like, you know how horrible people can also name asteroids. I genuinely thought they would just show even like a quick wee shot of like this cool civilization or even like, anything.
Even like a few shots where like you get like JFK and like LBJ singing like civil rights songs and stuff like that.
I don't know, because they wanted to do a space thing and I don't know what you do in budget, because like showing like a shot of like a civilization walking about might not convey it. It's probably vastly cost expensive or whatever, but a barren rock in space that I don't know when it was named after her, but it just I laughed at it. I'm sorry to say that. Like I just thought it was a really funny. I thought I thought the Earth had been destroyed. Like I thought it was just like it's all rubble now, but like there's like a monument to her or something. But like it was just so half baked. I didn't like it, and it's really sad that I didn't like that episode at all. Really.
I thought it was better than last week's episode.
I liked individual bits of it quite a lot, and I really liked that they did the Rosa Parks story. And it's weird that Doctor Who has not really done that before. He thought they'd have gone it at some point.
I guess, but
50 years into this thing. But I thought the actual mechanisms of the episode, and like usually I'm not that guy. Usually, because like in like technical terms, I can't see frames. See when you see like you say there's like frame droppage or whatever, I can't see that, and I'm usually like that with like TV shows. See, I'm not usually like, oh, the mechanisms of like the episode like prevented me from enjoying like the message. The message was brilliant. It's just like I thought the acting and the characters were, for the most part, terrible.
Yeah, then the episode ended, and yet again we got
like a 10-second trailer.
10-second at best. Mm-hmm. Promo, so that's clearly a deliberate choice. We
should talk about it because that was the capper for the episode for me in terms of disappointment, because with a name like Arachnids
in the UK,
they had the opportunity.
It's modern day Sheffield.
It's just modern day Sheffield. Maybe there'll be a time travel in it, but so far they're advertising it as modern day Sheffield. They could have done like 70s spiders cutting about, like punk spiders. Like I don't know why they would have wanted to do that, but they made that name. So I'm disappointed. Like, and it's also the exact same format as. I
believe it's also written by Chris Chibnall.
That's great.
By himself.
That makes sense because that's them going. It's his Aliens of London or whatever. Because like it is the same format as like Rose, End of the World.
Finally getting back to Earth.
Like because they did a
the Unquite Dead End of the World.
Yeah, Unquite Dead. They did an Earth episode, they did a space episode, they did a past episode, and then they're getting back, and it'll be 6 months later, and like Yaz's mum will be like, "Where have you been? It's been 6 months. You went away with this woman in her police box, and it's not weirdly sexual like it was."
Time to get into the script. We've made it. Sheffield 2018.
Well, when Bradley Walsh said, America, Montgomery, 1955.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking.
Can we talk about how much money Bradley Walsh is making on a Sunday afternoon? Because Doctor Who is on,
and the Chase is
on.
I saw that
exactly the same time.
ITV was like, I know what we're going to run against Doctor Who.
Yeah, the two biggest channels in the country. Like you can't escape Bradley Walsh. So fair play to the guy.
It's come a long way since he played a clown in the Sarah Jane Adventures. I mean,
I like Bradley Walsh.
I hope the Doctor gets more to do next week, but it does look to be like a Yaz episode.
It does look, but considering like it's arachnids, I'd imagine the Doctor will get more to do.
I wonder will they be giant? Will it be like 8-legged freaks, but like set in Sheffield? That would be great.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume it'll be a more silly episode than this week.
Aye, you kind of need like an antidote after that.
A bit of an antidote, yeah.
But like it has been quite grim thus far.
Yeah,
like every episode has been because for their talk of being like kid friendly and like popular, it has been like quite. Like that episode wasn't quite kid friendly at all. Yeah. Like that was like proper hard hitting commentary on our lives.
I don't know
what you should do for kids, but like
I don't really know what kids will make of that episode.
Yeah.
Well,
there wasn't
no monster.
There's no monster.
You wouldn't want to have done a monster.
You couldn't have done a monster in about, which I think contributes to like the villain being terrible. Really, he doesn't get enough like maniacal alt-right horribleness to like really be memorable, and he's just a greaser guy.
Should have gone on about soy boys.
So yeah, he's like, soy, that's where it all went wrong.
That'll be his next.
He'll turn up in like 2015 and just like he'll be the first incel. Like,
does this mean like the Archon energy like conspired to get Donald Trump? Was this guy?
This is where it started.
That's why Donald Trump was president, because of this guy.
Maybe it is Trump somehow. Like Trump is from the year fight. Like he gets sent to the past and becomes more orange and like haggard and monstrous as the years go on for him. There wasn't any mention of the Tim Shaw's race, the Stens.
No, there wasn't any hints of like
unless I missed it.
Unless like the greaser space racist comes back.
I mean, space racism would be a good season-long arc to do, I guess.
Yeah.
The Hunter people didn't seem necessarily racist. James Meek says, he didn't know the clown was Bradley Walsh. You've ruined my night. I was watching a thing about the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Craig has been deep into the Doctor Who wiki.
I have. The wiki has like 60,000 pages. And
that's a lot of pages.
And they're all quite well written. Even when they're like stubs, they're fairly substantial. I didn't find it on the wiki. I found it on YouTube because there was a youth talking about his love for the Sarah Jane Adventures. Because that was like nostalgic from.
Yeah, you were reminded that Matt Smith was in the Sarah Jane Adventures.
I didn't know. Like, I did know at the time, I guess. But
that episode is literally called Death of the Doctor.
Death of the Doctor, yeah, and it's like a Joe Grant episode because like Joe, there's a great bit because the third Doctor leaves or lets Joe go because Joe goes to get married to this Welshman, I want to say, who's going to travel the rainforest, and there's a bit in that episode where like. She's like, you left me because I went and got married, but now you're traveling with a married couple? Because, like, Matt Smith, like, travels with Amy and Rory, and, like, Joe's really upset by that. Because, like, that's the entire reason, like, they didn't... Because, like, they could have just travelled with, like, Pertwee.
Yeah.
But...
It was the 70s.
It's the 70s, no, she's fallen in love in this one episode about giant maggots with, like, this Welshman. Clearly that's a gone.
Fucking, Susan had to leave because she felt like
there's like
someone in like a post-apocalyptic London, and she had to stay rather than just invite him on the TARDIS.
Well, they're gonna stay and rebuild. Oh god, I don't know what age Susan's meant to be by the end of her 18, maybe.
She's not meant to be very old.
No,
she's still meant to be pretty young.
God. That is a trope in Doctor Who because I feel like Leela leaves to marry like a Time Lord guard.
Yeah.
And like, it was the 70s. It was a different time. Let's not defend it.
You move on to questions?
Give us the questions. We've got 2 questions this week, I believe. Do you have them there? Because I sent them to you. Yes, technical support. I believe they're general questions because there's not really that much to talk about from last night too.
Yeah.
There's not much deep lore to get into. It was all just like, societal criticism. Let's leave some silence here. Let you enjoy the silence, James, our one listener. You're constant.
Silence will fall.
Silence will fall. It never really did if you watched all of Matt Smith's stuff.
Right, so some listener questions from Ewan and Sterling.
Yes.
If you could remake a classic Who episode with today's SFX and a decent budget, which one would you choose?
I've not actually thought about it. I should have thought about this.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
I'll need to...
Would it be like classic Who? Do you say classic Who in particular? Because I thought of some like... I mean, if you just did like RTD stuff, but actually gave him the budget he shouldn't have wasted.
Yeah.
Like, what would have Boomtown looked like if...
it would have like been like it would have been in HD.
It would have been.
And some of it would have probably been like better lit rather than Dayglow season.
Oh, it wouldn't have been the same. Like, I guess I would have. That'd be a vibe actually. I would make a lot of like classic Who, but with the Dayglow 2005 budget.
They didn't know how to light a TV show, bless them.
It looks good. Like it doesn't look good, but like as a chunk of Who, because like you know how you look at 70s Who.
Like when you look at that series, you know what series it is.
It keeps it for all of his run. There's always Dayglow stuff cutting about R2D stuff right up until the end.
Yeah, there's way less.
There's way less. Like it isn't like the overarching like lighting scheme.
I'm trying to think.
What episodes do you like? What are your bangers? Or what episodes do you hate? I guess the Candyman episode. do the Candyman.
We should bring
back
Candyman.
The Candyman recently came back in Big Finish, and I can say that about every monster. Like everything that's ever happened in Doctor Who, you can say it recently come back in Big Finish. But
I'd maybe say like Caves of Androzani or something, because that's like a high concept, like sort of epic episode almost. There's like a lot of quarry and like vaguely bad looking caves.
There's a dragon thing in that episode that's pretty bad as well.
Yeah.
That like just kind of flaps about, looks like an Ultraman monster.
I would have said like Spearhead, but Spearhead looks fucking incredible.
Spearhead does look great. Spearhead is like a generational moment.
Yeah, like the best looking Doctor Who episode for like all of it. In fact, it was probably held the title because it looked until they went HD, like maybe until like the 11th hour or something.
I feel like there's bits and bobs of other episodes that look great.
Yeah.
Because they do like the videotape and the film stuff. So all the outside stuff in Doctor Who looks alright, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's
like,
the right kind of.
If you like the Dalek invasion of Earth, going back to.
Well, they did remake that. They remade that for a film.
Yeah.
Those two things, we should watch them at some point and do like a cast on them, because you've not seen them, have you? The Peter Cushing ones, where Bernard Cribben's a companion. He's literally a policeman that like gets bonked on the head by a robber, and then like goes to report it in the police box, and then just stumbles into the TARDIS because it's the TARDIS.
Great work. Oh, that. I'll tell you what, that Troughton episode with like the mad writer who's like writes mad shit in books. What is that called?
Is that that's the one with the Land of Fiction.
Yeah.
And, it's not the Celestial Toymaker, that's the Hartnell one. It's the... look it up, because I can't actually... Some of Troughton's stuff I can't remember the names of, but... Yeah, that'd be good. The episode where Jamie was off for a week, so they got another guy and messed up his face. And they had like cardboard cutouts. And like the Doctor couldn't remember what Jamie looked like. What a horrible guy. Like... I like a lot of Troughton's Base Under Siege stuff, because that's like kind of his era, and a lot of it's just in one room or two rooms in a studio. I guess I would give that the big budget treatment, but still make it look like two rooms. I don't know. I like a lot of Doctor Who looking horrible. That's kind of the aesthetic for me. I don't know. I guess I would remake the Daleks in Manhattan and put a lot of budget into making the human Dalek not look the worst it could possibly look. You know, with like the kind of penis tendrils that writhe about.
Yeah.
What is it?
I'm trying to look for a list of second Doctor dramas.
Second Doctor. Are you on that? No.
Normal ass wiki.
I
Season 4
should have thought about this. Is the answer to this question?
The Smugglers, the 10th Planet, Power of the Daleks, Highlanders.
Mm-hmm.
Big Jamie.
Big Jamie.
Underwater, Moonbase, Matter Fairface, this one's Evil Daleks.
Yep. Keep going.
Abominable Snowmen, Ice Warriors, Enemy of the World, Web of Fear.
Web of Fear is the one with the Yeti and Underground.
Yeah, Fury of the Deep, Wheel of Space.
What else? None of these are ringing a bell for that episode, and it should be...
The Mind Robber!
The Mind Robber, yeah.
I fucking love The Mind Robber.
Did you watch it on Twitch when it was happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's the one that has like the 30s superhero in it for a bit.
Yeah,
he's called something.
Yeah.
They all team up at the end.
Some mad shit in that episode.
The Land of Fiction, like they should do more stuff like that where they just don't, feel the need to be tethered to reality. I kind of miss old Who for that, where they would just do things.
Yeah.
And like it isn't as bound to like the lore and kind of we're like a proper TV program, so we're not just going to do like a made up episode for a week or whatever.
I don't know whether like the audience index was different in the 1970s because apparently Spearhead from Space only had an appreciation index of 54.
What?
Which is way low.
Well, that's the thing, because if you look back, everyone hates, even though we love and we think of Spearhead from Space as like the biggest and best thing, people have been like, what? A new Doctor? And it's Earth-based? What? This is horrible.
This is in colour, it's incredible.
Well, like we talked about last week, only
I guess a lot of people didn't have colour.
Yeah. Oh, we should really go watch Spearhead from Space.
Every day.
Basically, for this question, I don't have a great answer.
Okay.
Because like a lot of stuff looks bad and I love it.
And James and Dundee, what specifically makes the earlier seasons of... I find this question confusing. What specifically makes the earlier seasons of New Who better than the old ones? What changed? Am I just old and cynical now? It's like...
Well, I think he's implying that he liked the oldest... and we're kind of like that as well.
I am, but like I'm also not, because like there's a lot of good stuff on RTD Who, but there's a lot of bad stuff.
I think there's less bad stuff if you watch it. I've watched it all back in like a... binge recently.
Yeah.
So I've watched it all back to back, and the bad stuff is outweighed a lot by the good stuff. Like there is Fear Her and there is Love and Monsters, and they are all, I think, back to back. But that's that's like 2 episodes out of like 5-ish seasons. Like a lot of the character stuff isn't like necessarily good, but it's like soapy in a way that you like love and can like instantly know. And like the Tyler family are great.
Yeah.
Like even though like Jackie's pretty terrible, I guess. Like you still like Jackie, and you like that the whole kind of written as he went parallel Earth story fits together really well for the family vibe. Because you know how like they lose Rose's dad, or Rose's dad's already dead, and then like Father's Day happens, and then I feel like the kind of format of him just making stuff up, and it worked really well. And then it was kind of a different time as well, 2005. So you don't have as much. It was pre-event show, I want to say.
Yeah.
Was it pre? Well, when did Lost start in like 2003? 2004. Yeah.
So they were making like that first Doctor Who.
Yeah.
The thing is, Doctor Who got like RTD Who got more event TV. Like,
went
on like
it definitely.
Journey's End was like peak. That was like peak Doctor Who. We'll never match that again.
But like the kind of decline, if you want to call it that, of Doctor Who is kind of like coincided with Netflix, and people expect a lot of good stuff from like TV or TV shows, and they don't, because like Doctor Who is like a weekly episodic Monster of the Week thing.
It's less of a zeitgeist now. Like people don't watch it as much as they used to.
Although the viewing figures are great for what they are.
I should check the viewing figures for this week.
It is probably like a combination of like nostalgia and genuinely liking things that happened then. I think as I grow older, the more I think about it, there's things that I liked in the past.
6.39 million.
It's pretty good for an episode 3 of like, and a past episode.
Yeah.
Like
additionally less. See, you know my hatred for past episodes.
Yep.
That is an example of past episode that I can totally get down with.
It was a 20th century episode.
20th century. They should do more.
They should absolutely. Like I've been screaming out for them for years.
Get more into the 80s and 90s.
80s and like do a 90s episode. Like it doesn't even have to be about the 90s. Just cut about the 90s. Surely that's a no-brainer now for like the neo 90s and like all the nostalgia. You could just like dude, I can see Jodie Whittaker making a joke about Furbies. Like
you know what? Like I know the X Factor isn't what it used to, but Doctor Who beat the X Factor.
Really? Yeah. That's great.
That's totally more of a
on the X Factor.
On the X Factor than.
I think the Sunday format, as Brexit as it is, really works for it.
Yeah, it does.
You like Matt Smith's Who quite a lot, though. You're a big fan of like season.
That's what I said. I think this question confusing because I think like Moffat's first series is like the best series in New Who overall.
Season 4 is really good.
Yeah.
Season 4, son. Like.
I also had some bad. Like Journey's End is not great.
Stolen Earth, though. The Stolen Earth is a banger. It doesn't go anywhere. It throws all of its like momentum out the window immediately. But as like 45 minutes of TV, the Stolen Earth is breathless.
I'd agree with that, but just the sheer.
And they're doing the shared universe thing before the Avengers.
Yeah, that's all
making it work.
That's what I mean about like the event TV stuff. Like combine all the shows, like Sarah Jane coming back. And,
it's kind of weird. That
everyone around that TARDIS.
Everyone. When like Martha that looks into the camera at one point. Like there's a moment.
Who is it? It's like Jackie, Rose.
It's Jackie.
Donna.
Jack's there.
Sarah Jane.
Sarah Jane's kid or like one of the kids.
One of the kids. The doc, obviously.
Is it the two docs? Is it like Doctor and Rose and the Meta Crisis doc?
Meta Crisis doc. What a wild. Mickey.
Mickey's probably there. Yeah. Is Mickey in that episode? Yeah, Mickey is in that episode. Yeah, because Mickey and Jackie have this like subplot where the Daleks are processing humans, and like, did they get like a? Yeah, they meet up with Sarah Jane, and she's got like a.
Can we talk about that event too? Because you know how they said, "Oh, Rose is coming back," and then she's just in the first episode.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
and she's like a quantum leaper.
Yeah,
and she's like got a Cyberman gun, and it's a whole post-apocalyptic thing for her. And
I remember when for the 50th anniversary special, Moffat was like, I'm going to bring back, but we're not going to bring back like Rose, we're going to bring back like Bad Wolf Rose.
Yeah,
like,
it's not even Bad Wolf Rose, but like she's the moment, which they set up in The End of Time.
Yeah.
Like there's a line of dialogue in that Russell T Davies finale where the Time Lords are talking about what's going on because it's the last days of the Time Lord, last moments of it, and one of the Time Lords says the Doctor has the moment, and like that was just a random.
That's great because RTD probably just threw that line in.
Yeah,
it's just like a Doctor Who writer thing.
I love RTD's.
And then they used it like in the 50th. That's good shit.
I don't. Maybe even like Moffat asked him to put a line in like
possibly,
that.
Yeah. Although that's like assuming like. I guess it was only a few years away.
Yeah. Like he was seeding stuff or whatever. Either way,
also he probably did have that idea for quite a long time because obviously like the Time War they were built. Also like I guess
I always
wonder if he like asked RTD about if he had any like stuff that he wanted to get across in the Time War because obviously RTD had never really like done it.
Well, that's weird. The weird thing because Moffat's Who is very not Time War.
Yeah, but
like Matt Smith doesn't talk about or deal with the Time War at all, to my knowledge, except in that episode. And it always felt weird to me that Moffat concluded the Time War basically, and I've got a lot to say about the whole like Gallifrey isn't destroyed because they just like blink it out of existence. It's so dumb, like, and the Daleks all shoot themselves.
That episode is really really good.
It's really really good, but that moment, like, because it undermines like all of 9 and 10's Time War guilt.
No sir, all 13.
No sir, all 13 is potentially Capaldi's best moment of like. It's not a disservice to Capaldi because he is great, but like that moment is incredible. Season 4 has a weird like Bad Wolf style arc because it just shows Rose. And did we know about her beforehand, or was it a surprise?
Yeah, I knew she was coming back.
Mm-hmm. But did we know that she was going to be in that episode?
No,
I feel like that.
No, that was a surprise.
We're just eating biscuits again because it's biscuit o'clock. That was I don't know. I think you're right in saying that season 5 is probably the singular strongest season of New Who.
Like as like a series of television, like
I had a lot to say about it at the time. I really don't like. I didn't like the Eleventh Hour.
Tie up all the characters together into the finale.
That wedding. A wedding's a great way to end a season. Like
it is.
Every season should end with a wedding or something like that.
Heading for a wedding.
Heading for a wedding. Maybe I'm only saying that because of that Peep Show wedding.
This is the most iconic TV wedding of all time. In my eyes.
I'm excited. I've not looked at any of the preview names.
We're almost halfway through the series. We're not actually.
Oh yeah, because it's only 10 episodes, isn't it? Yeah.
I haven't heard anything more about that rumor that there might not be a Christmas episode, but I have heard that rumor.
So. Have you calculated exactly when it ends?
It would end in early December.
That makes me think there won't be a Christmas episode.
I mean, yeah.
Because they'll be like, oh no, you've already had Doctor Who, and it's like 10 days away from Christmas or whatever. But
I think
just do a Dalek episode at Christmas.
Christmas TV, like Christmas on BBC One, always just have like you had like a different lineup every year. Like, there's obviously some mainstays.
Yeah,
like
the Queen
and EastEnders, like obviously.
Some sort of animated claymation thing.
Yeah, but then like at some point in the past 5 years, it just became like the same 5 shows, like Doctor Who, Strictly Come Dancing, fucking call the midwife because like it's etched into my brain because obviously like Christmas Day is the one day where you watch TV.
It's probably a good thing that they're changing it up.
Then Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Yeah.
I'd rather they kept Mrs. Brown's Boys than Doctor Who. Like, I don't think Doctor Who really needs to be like. I get why it was in 2005 because it was like the hot new show, but like, I guess like they want their most popular shows on. Or just, like,
It's a Christmas tradition.
It's a Christmas.
But everybody does hate the Christmas episodes.
Yeah.
So maybe they're
they haven't had anything to say in a while.
Yeah. They've done all the plots. They've done A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
They've done like they've done one where Catherine Tate's about. Yeah, I've not watched that superhero one.
Claus.
The Santa Claus one is pretty good. Like it's a bad episode overall, but everything to do with Santa in it's great.
Yep.
The whole like Santa insinuating that the Doctor isn't real is a great scene. like the Doctor who travels in like a blue police box through time. What? That's not real. Best Nick Frost. Is it Nick? Am I thinking?
Nick Frost, yeah.
Every time I try and say Nick Frost solo, I have to say Simon Pegg and Nick Frost to know that I'm saying the right thing. Best use of Nick Frost in a while. I want the series to get better, I guess, is where I'm at right now, because the first 3 episodes haven't been great in my opinion. Episode 3 was bold, but not technically brilliant. And then episode 1 doesn't really look that good now in comparison to what we've got so far. Because like see a lot of episode 1, you're talking about how like the Doctor isn't really there, and like the new episode, like the episodes to come will make you like the Doctor more and get a better picture of our character. We're almost halfway through the season, and we don't really. How would you describe the Doctor?
Like I don't
What's
know.
the Doctor's
like, I don't know
character?
what her character is yet. She just feels like sort of like Tennant sort of like quips and like
Tennant, but also I guess Peter Davidson's kind of not really affecting the plot vibe. Kind of.
It's hard to. She needs like a really good script. Like,
She does. She's a good actress. She's like
a proper like meaty Doctor script.
I know you just want every episode to be like the Doctor in that castle to be like heaven sent. It's a great episode.
It's so good though. I don't even like. I feel like Matt Smith had already had like meaty like scripts.
3 episodes in, well, what is it? It's like
not even like necessarily, like, but he had like moments in them.
Oh, aye, like his first one.
There's the "I am the Doctor" speech. Like
his "I am the Doctor"
speech. He kind of tried to do that in the first, and it didn't. Like it was fine, but it wasn't "I am the Doctor."
No, it wasn't. It didn't really come across.
And then, like in Matt Smith's second episode, he had like the "I'm angry at the whale. You're killing the whale."
I don't like that episode. That's not a good episode. It's a low point for that season, or at least a middle ground point. Like it's not. And then what is episode 3 of that?
Victory of the Daleks.
People don't like Victory of the Daleks. I don't get it. Like I really like it.
I feel like there's a scene where he confronts the Daleks, though.
There's a scene where he confronts the Daleks with the Downy Dodger, and like people really don't, because like they're all like everyone talks about it, and they're like, oh, it's the Power Ranger Daleks, and they redesigned the Daleks to be like these toys. It's like they are toys. They have always been toys. Like I think the design looks pretty neat. Like,
and then after that, like okay, so this is what we're comparing it with. Like episode 4 of Matt Smith was like the Angel two-parter.
Yeah.
That is meaty.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Doctor Who content.
That is Doctor doing Doctor things.
We need to get into that sort of.
I don't know if the spiders will really.
No. Iconic Doctor Who villain.
The spiders.
And their second appearance.
Oh, what if they're the Hartnell spiders? You know, the like paper mache scuttly ant ones. Remember the Zarbi?
Yeah, well, there's no returning villains, so I guess.
Well, they're not really a villain, are they? They were just.
And they haven't. They've never said this. But...
Have they not actually said no returning villains? Because I feel like
they've not said that. I think they've alluded towards it.
They should do an entirely new season and then see how that goes. And then next season, every episode will be returning monsters because those viewing figures won't hold. Like,
no, they won't.
Oh, it's the Ice Warriors, Doctor. They're back again. They've teamed up with the Macra.
Mark Gatiss is in the episode.
Oh, I really want Mark Gatiss. Yes, they would have, but they would be amazing. Like it'd be just. Like, it would just be Unit on Earth dealing with monsters.
Ice Warriors, like, crabs.
Have you seen his Ice Warrior episode?
No, I haven't.
You should watch it, because it's them on Mars, and...
What's the one with the Cold War one on the submarine?
I like the Cold War one. People don't like that.
Ice Warriors?
That is Ice Warriors as well. He's got another... Did he do that one, did he? Yeah. That's people don't like that episode. Like, I've heard a lot of people talk about it. It's because it's in that season with Eleven and Clara, and people really don't like that combo in that string of episodes. That sub episode is really good. There's a great scene where
there's only like 8 episodes where they're together.
Aye. But like 2 of those episodes like a Christmas special and like a There's like 5 episodes.
And 50th.
Yeah.
Which like Clara doesn't really.
No.
She's just in it. Like
Clara's like a post. Like they didn't plan for like Amy Pond, Karen Gillan getting big. I want to say.
I think Karen Gillan left earlier than they were expecting.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like a lot of like, because you can't really do meaningful stuff with Clara, because like you're just known you for like 5 days, and like all of this should probably go to. Remember when Amy Pond's in Matt Smith's last episode? Yeah. Like he looks past Clara and like Amy's like walking down the stairs in that wig.
Where they're both wearing wigs.
Yeah.
You can really tell in Matt Smith's last episode that he's wearing a wig.
Yeah, you can. You can now. I didn't notice it much at the time. I was kind of swept up in events, but looking at his hair, it changes hair between seasons as well. Like he doesn't. It's not as Matt Smithy in the second season.
I don't like his later costumes as much as his first.
They're more kind of 8th Doctor-y, I want to say, like kind of frock coat. That tweed jacket. The wiki was telling me something about it, but it's entirely not interesting.
I assume they'll have like articles about all their costumes.
Oh, aye. I mean, that jacket's important for plot reasons and like that angel.
We were talking about it, but I watched that Paul McGann short.
Oh yeah, really Night of the Doctor.
Night of the Doctor. Like,
get him on TV.
He name checks his companions.
He name checks his Big Finish companions. Yeah. Aye, that is fantastic.
It's great.
I will be this season. This Jodie Whittaker season will be getting a 0 out of 10 if by the end McGann is not in it. Like that's a hard line, and I know I'm an extremist. But it's 2018.
I think we can officially say your rating for this series is 0 out of 10.
0 out of 10, no McGann, like, wouldn't watch again.
Putting McGann in is like the antithesis of everything that
Is it though?
Trying to do.
Is it though? Because like, I've thought about this long and hard. A multi-Doctor episode, right? Later in the season, maybe not necessarily the last episode. But like, just one of the episodes of the multi-Doctor thing, and it's not like a big end of the world thing, it's just she meets
The worrying thing about this right now is that all the other Doctors would overshadow her.
Yes.
And like, I hate how this, because like, this is going to come across like, oh, we're anti-female. Like, I genuinely just don't think she's like...
She's not done much.
She's not done anything. Like,
she's done a few things, but like...
I want her to have like this amazing moment where like, yes, this is the Doctor.
Yeah, yes. But they're not going for that, they're going for an ensemble thing, which I like. It's just I don't like that she doesn't get to shine. It's like a contradictory thing that can't really work out. But like, a multi-Doctor episode is kind of a quintessential Doctor Who thing. It's a thing that normals vaguely know about, is that sometimes there's like an episode where they meet.
I just don't think this is the right time for it.
I think it is, because like you're doing a season that's like, here's like a First Earth episode, here's like a First Space episode.
Also, who would be in it?
McGann! Just have McGann and like have them be against a normal like a new Monster of the Week thing, and then it shows that like that's a thing that the show can do as well. So because you're doing like a kind of showcase of all the things that Doctor Who can do. So presumably you'll have other kind of more Doctor Who-y episodes to come. I can't think of tropes, even though we've been talking about this for like an hour. But like there'll be like a Base Under Siege episode, right? They'll almost guarantee you it'll probably be one of those. Do a multi-Doctor episode. And which multi-Doctor are you going to pick? McGann. McGann's up for it. McGann will do it for a $5. Like, McGann's like on like River City. We know that he's filming things for the BBC right now. Like, he's over there in the other studio.
Yes.
I think that's almost a confirmation of McGann being confirmed. Like,
can you call it a podcast?
No, I want to keep talking. Our listener is listening intently. Although we have done it for 73 minutes, so that's a podcast. Yeah. We'll meet back here next Monday
for Arachnids in the Sheffield.
Arachnids in Sheffield would be a better title.
In Sheffield.
Why? Just, if you're going to call it that, why wasn't it a 70s thing? Like, it seems tailor-made.
Yeah. You'd have steel mills. They're all shut down now.
They could, like, just do a past Sheffield. Just do past
Still
Sheffield.
haven't had a Brexit reference. Do you think we might get it next week?
Yes. Yaz's
if
mum
it's going to be
seems
next week.
like she would
If it's going to happen, it's going to be next week.
I thought it would have been episode 2, the kind of happy, well, not even happy, but like away from Earth space planet where you can talk about that kind of stuff without it being on the nose.
I guess.
Do you think we'll see the custard cream dispenser happen again? Because it's not happened yet.
I don't
like,
know what else you could do with it.
It just happens. Maybe the doctor's sad and it like dispenses a custard cream for her, and it's a moment. Because like that's a great thing, and that's what people were talking about with that TARDIS design.
I quite like that. It's like, oh, it's been a hard story.
Yeah.
Like all this racism and here, have a tea and a custard cream.
Does the Doctor like tea currently? I feel like we don't know because they go between liking tea.
You don't really see the Doctor eat very much. I don't know if they have to.
Did he eat in that greasy spoon with Wilf? In 2009,
so.
did he sit down and eat some?
He might just have done it out of like politeness.
The Doctor is like loves everything. Like he's like a lover of things. Like probably eats. Like it's a weird question we're having. Like at the end, does the Doctor eat? Like, see, this is another thing that the wiki reminded me. Let's see what we'll go out on. Pertwee has a tattoo. He has a snake tattoo, like on his wrist. That is great, and you see in Spearhead from Space because he's having that shower. I didn't realize that it was in the shape of a question mark. Like it's a snake coiled into a question mark, and he had that since the night. That's a weird, spooky thing. Like that's like let's make a YouTube video about like, how did he know he was going to be in Doctor Who in the 40s? It wasn't even a program. Like, goodbye everyone.
Bye.
We'll play you out with the music. Loud spike in audio. That's going to be our ending.